Welcome to EduRev. When you look at any really great company, what's the one thing they all have in common? It's their people. Today, I'm going to guide you through the essentials of staffing, which is really the art and science of building a winning team. So let's start with that big question. How do you actually build one of those incredible teams? How do you find the right people, put them in the right spots, and then get them to stay and grow with you? That's the challenge every successful organization has to solve. Well, the answer isn't just about luck or hiring a few superstars. It all comes back to a core managerial function called staffing. And that's exactly what I'm here to break down for you today. Okay, so let's dive right in. What exactly is staffing? The first thing you need to know is that it's so much more than just posting a job ad online. That's just one tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. Think of it this way. Staffing is the whole process of finding, keeping, and growing a great team. It's this systematic approach to making sure every single position in my company is not only filled, but filled by the right person. And just as importantly, that it stays filled. And why is this so important? Well, what's really interesting is that when I get staffing right, it kicks off this amazing chain reaction. See, it helps me find competent people, which naturally leads to higher performance. That success then fuels continuous growth for the whole organization. And because I have the right people in the right jobs, I'm making the best use of my resources, which in turn boosts job satisfaction for everyone. It's a win-win-win. So let's move on to the actual process. How does this all come together? Well, it builds step by step. And it's not something I just do once and forget about. This diagram here brilliantly illustrates the whole journey. It's an 8-step cycle that starts with me estimating my manpower needs, figuring out who I need, and goes all the way through recruitment, selection, training, and even compensation. And notice how it loops back around? It's a continuous process. So here are those 8 steps all laid out. Now, for this explainer, I'm really going to focus on what I see as the core journey. That's recruitment, selection, and training. So this is a really crucial point. How do I find and then choose the absolute best people for the job? Well, it's a 2-step dance. First, I have to build a pool of candidates. This is the recruitment phase. The goal here isn't to pick the winner just yet. No, the real goal is to get as many qualified people as possible interested and excited to apply. And to do that, I have 2 main paths I can take. I can look for people who are already working within my company. That's internal recruitment.
Or I can search outside the company for fresh talent. That's external recruitment. And this is a classic exam topic, by the way. Looking internally is awesome because it's cheaper and it really motivates my current team. But on the other hand, looking externally brings in fresh ideas and gives me a much wider choice of candidates. There's a trade-off for sure. Okay, so once I've got my pool of applicants, it's time to start the careful process of selection. Think of it as flipping a switch. We go from trying to attract everyone to carefully filtering people out to find that one perfect fit. This flowchart really shows that step-by-step process I use to filter candidates. It's like a gauntlet they have to run. We start with a quick preliminary screening, then maybe some selection tests and interviews, and then finally background checks before I make my final decision and offer an employment contract. But finding the right person and getting them to sign on the dotted line isn't the end of the journey, not even close. Now I need to help them grow and succeed. When it comes to training, I can go about it in 2 main ways. I can train my new employees right at the workplace, which we call on-the-job training. Think of things like apprenticeships or internships. Or I can train them away from the workplace, which is off-the-job training, like in a classroom or with case studies. And this diagram just illustrates it perfectly. Training isn't just good for the company, By increasing productivity and all that, it's also fantastic for the employee. It boosts their skills, their morale, and really sets them up for a great career. It's a total win-win. It's also really important to understand the difference between a few key terms.
So training is usually for a very specific job that someone is doing right now. Education is much broader. It's about overall knowledge. And development, that's all about long-term career growth. Okay, we've gone on quite a journey through the world of staffing. Now let's just quickly summarize the most important points you need to remember. Alright, here are the 5 key takeaways for your exams. 1. Staffing is the whole process, finding, placing, and growing employees. 2. It's a continuous 8-step cycle, not a one-time thing. 3. Recruitment can happen inside the company or outside. 4. Selection is a multi-step filtering process to find the best fit. And 5. Training is a win-win that develops skills for today and for the future. So I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Now that you know how a team is built, how would you do it? If you were creating your own dream company, what would your perfect staffing process look like? I really hope this was helpful. To continue your learning journey and dive even deeper, make sure you download the EduRev app.
It's available on both the Play Store and the iOS App Store.